Now, if you take the lab course, then you do have to take the lecture. If you take the lecture, you do not have to take the lab course. That makes sense? So if you're in here, you're good no matter what. If you want to, you can take the lab as well, but that's an optional add-on to it. The reason we do that is because for general education requirements, you need to take 2 general education labs, or sorry, 2 lectures and 1 lab. So it's nice to have some options that don't have a lab with it. This one works out really well for that. So that's your call in terms of that. Shoot. Yeah, there we go. Okay, textbook. We talked about last time, online textbook. The 3 people who came up and spoke with me after class, I emailed. If you did not get my email, speak with me after class. Now, I think I covered that well enough for now. If you're not familiar with the discussion, you weren't here last time, the textbook is online for you. You can download it as a PDF, print it out if you want. However, realize if you print it out the first half, this is the first half of the book we'll do, it's like 250 pages. So it's a lot. The reason for that is because the pictures are big, and there's a lot of dead space throughout it. It's actually less text than a normal textbook, but just because of the spacing, it ends up being more pages. So there you go for that. You will need access to that throughout the term. Don't try and wing the course without the textbook, especially since it's a free textbook. Just doesn't make any sense to do that. You also need to have access to the internet to do the homeworks. So if we go to our Blackboard site here real quick, under the various things over here on the side, we've got one called assignments. If you click on assignments, it'll say the chapter homework. So for every chapter that we cover, we're going to have 1 homework set. So here is homework 1. So if we click on it, it'll come up. All of the homeworks in the chapter homeworks are multiple choice questions, and you get unlimited tries at them. So here, for example, it pulls 25 questions at random from the test bank. There's probably 100 questions for the first chapter, and you just go through it. Scientific theories, always change, never change, change. And Nicola has a mass of about 5. And I'm going to randomly choose a couple here. Hopefully I get one right and one wrong or something. Okay, after you go through, you want to hit save and submit. It'll say, oh, you didn't answer these questions. We don't care about that right now. And then it says that it's submitted. Scroll down, hit OK. And what's going to pop up is whether you got their questions right or wrong. So here, for example, question 1's got a green check, which means that it's correct. Question 2, I got that right. Question 3, right, and my guess, and 4 was wrong. Okay, so you see there it's 4. So you go through and answer all the questions. You'll get your media feedback so that you see what you got right and wrong in case you want to study those topics and so forth. And you'll also see your score out of 25. If you're not happy with that score, then you just hit OK, and you click in, and you do it again. Okay? You have unlimited attempts at these. So there's a couple reasons why you want to take extra runs through of it. One is to improve your score, obviously. The other is on the exams, half of the exams roughly are going to be multiple choice questions, and half are going to be fill-in questions. So the multiple choice questions are coming, 90–95% of those questions are coming from the same test bank that these are being pulled from. Okay? So if you're familiar with these types of questions, you know roughly the difficulty, you know the questions. You'll even see from time to time one of the questions from your homework on the exam. I'm just going to go through and pick out my favorite ones for the exam and then put it on the exam for you to take. So the more you're familiar with these types of questions and the questions themselves, the better off I think you would be going into the exam. Yeah.
Will the questions change every time?
They will. They will change. You may get, like it doesn't exclude any, so you may get a couple of the same or something, but it will randomly pull those 25 as you go through. Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to, you could go through and hit A for everything and stuff, but then next time you come back, it's going to be a different am asking you, just asking, for you to try and have these done 1 week after we finish a chapter. I think if we finish a chapter, a week should be enough to get a homework done for us. Now, the actual due dates. When is it truly due at the end of the semester? So I leave all of the homeworks open for the entire term so that you can go and practice and retake them at any point you want throughout the semester. So if we get, say, into chapter 5 and you're having problems with chapter 2 material, you can go back and work on chapter 2 material through the homework and so forth as well. Yeah.
With that, so let's say we already did chapter 1, chapter 2, and we're going back to practice.
Yeah.
But the last score we got was a good score.
Yep.
If we take it again, the score's worse.
Okay, so it's set up that it should record the highest score, and that's what I want.
Okay.
If it doesn't do that, let me know and I'll manually change it for you.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no, in my mind, there's no way that you can lower your score by practicing. That's just not something I want to occur there.
Is there a way on there where we can actually, all the chapters, see how well we did on each one as we go along?
Yeah, so if you go, oh, I can't show you that because I'm not a student. If you go into Blackboard, there's a grade book, and it'll show you your scores as you go through for each of the different ones. My grade book looks different because I see everyone's grades, so I can't really show that. But yeah, you just go in grade book and it lists all of the assignments and then whatever it is. And you can click right there on it to go to it too. So that way you kind of see where you're having issues and then go back and do it. So the highest score should always be the one that's recorded, and technically you have until the end of the term. Now, if I'm pulling homework or if I'm pulling exam questions from this stuff, then obviously I think you should do it before the exams for your own safety and so forth. But I'm not going to chase you down. To be perfectly honest, I don't care if you do it well. I guess morally I care, but it's not that big of a deal to me. If you just don't do them, then you don't do them. I'm not going to call you and say, hey, do your homework. The reason I use that as an example, I once had a professor call me and tell me to get to class. So I went, like I said, I don't know, did I tell you about my undergrad? When I went to undergrad, it was a really small school. There was only 1,200 students in the whole school. My upper level courses had like 5 students in them. So if one student was missing, there's no way you could hide in the crowd. So my faculty member got mad at me and told me to get to class. I'm not going to do that. I did go in the hall once and yell at someone to get in class. Okay. Homework make sense? Okay, great. Also, don't forget that if you want more work associated with this, you can go to that CK12 site, and they have practice on each of the different sections as well as you go through. So I do think there is plenty of availability of things for you to try out and work on as you're going through it. So that would be another one I'd suggest. The final one I would suggest is the Khan Academy. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this before. Some of you probably have. It's KHAN. And what they do is they record videos discussing various topics and so forth. It's primarily set for high school, but a lot of the topics we cover here are the same as the ones they cover there. So you go in and you click on a topic, and then it'll walk you through a several-minute video on how to do whatever the topic is. So that may be helpful for you as well, going through the course. Finally, if there's anything else that you would find helpful, let me know. And if I can do it, then by all means, I will go ahead and do it for you. We don't want that. Okay, so that's why it's web enhanced course, because you have to go and do the homeworks online. Everything else will be in class. The clipping assignments you can submit online, or you can hand in here at class. The topic paper, I am asking everyone to submit online because I feed it through the plagiarism checkers, just to be sure that that doesn't occur there. Okay, so what's going to be expected of you in the course? We've already talked about several of these things. We're just going through the list. First, attendance. I do expect attendance in the course, and the way that I do this is a bit different than other people. So let me explain it really quick. Make the light so you can see the board. Right now, everyone in the course has 45 points out of the 90 points. This is 100% for attendance. 45 is what's actually put into the grade book for attendance. Several days or most days throughout the semester when I come into class, I will have a list of probably 3 students in the class, and I'll just go to the first person. I'm just randomly going to pick a name. I hope no one in here has a name. Johnny. And say, Johnny, today I'm going to ask you a question. Now, let's imagine student Johnny is not here. If he's absent on that day, he's going to lose 15 out of those 45 points. If he's present on that day, nothing bad can happen. If he's present, then I'll ask him the question. The question will be something simple over the last couple days or something like that. And if he gets that question right, if I'm ever writing on the board and you guys can't read it because of my handwriting or the marker's bad or whatever, just let me know. If he gets the question right, then he's going to gain 15 points. And you can gain up to another 45 points extra credit this way as we go through the term. So if you're not here, you lose 15 points. If you're here and you get the question wrong, it stays the same. If you're here and you get the question right, then you're going to get 15 points extra credit. There's about 2,000 points in the semester, so this isn't a huge amount, but it's a little bit to say, hey, I appreciate you guys showing up. Now, does that make sense for the most part? Because of the number of students in here, I won't be able to ask everyone a question 3 times in the term, just because there's more students than days. So, at least 3 times in the semester, I'll ask a question of everyone in the class. I'll come in and I'll say, hey, today we're going to just ask everyone a question. You'll rip off a little piece of paper and write your name and the answer on the question and just hand it in. And that'll be that. Okay? And it'll count as attendance for us. So that way everyone has the possibility to gain the full 45 points of extra credit. Okay? Also, if you're absent once and you get it right on the next one, that just cancels that out. Okay? So it's not really meant to be like to penalize people and stuff, but I do want you guys to attend class. Not because empty seats bother me. That's not my concern. But I do know from past experiences, students who attend class and attend class regularly generally do better in this course. Chemistry is not something that most students can teach themselves from a textbook. Like history, where you read and you memorize dates and stuff, okay, maybe you can get that from a textbook. But in chemistry, where you're actually taking the ideas and doing things with them, applying them to different things, it becomes very tough to do on your own. So that's why we have attendance. Homework, we already talked about that. There'll be 1 for each chapter as we go through. We'll get started on chapter 1 here shortly. Quizzes, these are unannounced quizzes. They'll either be usually at the beginning or the end of class. I drop the lowest quiz score for the semester in case someone's absent on a day. Okay, since they're unannounced, I don't do makeups because you can't really do a makeup of an unannounced thing. But that being said, that's not really fair to people who have legitimate reasons to miss. So for that reason, I throw out the lowest score. So if you miss a day where there's a quiz, then that one will be the one that's thrown out. Clipping assignments, these are current events where I'm having you go to a newspaper or a news article somewhere and write a 1-page summary about it. We can talk a little bit more about it when they come up. I think I mentioned them already in class last time, right? Yes? No? Oh yeah, okay. The first clipping assignment is due on the 8th. So just so we're aware of when that is. That's actually the first official thing due in the course. The first clipping due next month on the 8th. The topic paper, we'll talk more about that. But it's really just 3 to 6 pages on a topic related to chemistry that you choose. It can be anything you choose at all. Some popular ones are things like global warming, alternative energy, drugs, hobbies, kind of depends really what you're interested in. I leave it completely open so that you can pick something that's of interest to you. I don't want to hand out like you've got to do this, you've got to do that, and so forth. Largely because I get tired of reading the same ones over and over again. So if I can get more diversity in terms of what I have to read from the topic papers, then I'm in pretty good shape there. Questions about that? The exams. For the exams, we have 4 chapter exams. The dates of those are listed on the syllabus. Those dates will not change. The first one is 9/15. So some people rearrange their schedules in whatever ways needed so that they can study for the exams and so forth. So I'm not going to ever push them back a day or something. Whatever we cover as we get up to that date, that's what will be covered on the exam. So just be aware of that. So we'll have 4 of those as we go through the semester, and then we'll have a final that's comprehensive. So starting from whenever I get done with the syllabus stuff until the very last day. Okay? It'll cover all of that material. When you're studying for the comprehensive final, realize that if I think it's important enough to be on the final, it's most likely going to be important enough to be on the chapter tests. So you can kind of look at the chapter tests and see what topics are going to be there. I'm not doing it to trick anyone or anything like that. That's kind of the idea of it. For the exams, because of the size of the class, I do not give makeup exams. What I do is I count the final for it. So that means if you get an 80% on the final, I go back and I put an 80% in for the exam that you missed. I would like excuses, however, I've never been really strict about enforcing it. So for the exams. Realize though that that will only work for one exam. After you miss one exam, if you miss a second one, then you get a 0 for it. You know the dates now, so you can plan ahead and so forth. Under extreme circumstances, maybe we'll have a discussion about it, obviously, medical, things like that. But don't plan on that by any means. Also, that puts a lot of stress on your final when it's like 3/4 of your score going through it. Not like half of your score going through. So just be aware. So if you miss an exam, I count the final for it. That can be applied to one exam in the semester. Questions at all? Yeah.
On Blackboard or in person?
In person exams, right? Yeah, in person. Yep.
How many chapters will be
I think 8. I think I'm aiming for 8. So the way the course is set up, chapters 1 is just a hodgepodge of information. All of it. Chapters 2 and 3 are atoms and then the periodic table. Chapter 4 is using atoms to make molecules, so bonding and naming and stuff. Chapter 5 is the math, so sort of geometry. Then we get to nuclear chemistry, and then after that we'll have to see where we are. Usually I can do nuclear chemistry and then one more topic in the semester, which gives us 7, but I always aim for 8, and then I go short. If the time comes and we don't get to like an 8 homework for whatever reason, I'll just award the points for that. So you don't have to worry about it. But that's kind of the gist of it.
And will we give our exams to study for final?
Yes. I will give exams back so you have your individual ones, and I'll also post answer keys for the exams so that you can, like if you miss a bunch of BBC and stuff like that. And then during class, we'll go through and ask questions. Yeah. Yep. Okay, anything else? Does all this seem semi-fair at this point? Okay. Here are the points for everything. You'll notice that most things are based on 200. So, for example, one exam is 200 points. The homeworks together are 200 points. So what that means is if you get 100% on the homeworks, that's the same thing as getting 100% on an exam. I like that because it doesn't make your grade in the course so dependent on just the exams. Quizzes are the same thing. Clippings here are 200. Really, clippings, almost everyone gets full points about than what you feel about it. The only time people generally lose points in clippings are when they don't have a page length. They write like 3 lines and they call that a page. So if you just write, make a good faith effort to have a page, then you should be good there. The topic paper is 250. Generally people do fairly well on that. Here are the exams, each worth 200, and then the finals worth 250. And finally, you'll notice the attendance is listed as a 45 there, even though you could have up to 90 because of the extra time. So that gives us just short of 2,000 points. Great. Oh, this page is rough. Okay, very quickly. I can change things on the syllabus if I need to. I personally will not do that without talking to you. I don't think that's fair at all. You need to read and understand the syllabus, that's fine. Don't cheat. Cheating will not be tolerated. The primary ways people cheat in here, honestly, the largest one that I run across is plagiarism. Every semester I have to bail somebody because they plagiarize their topic paper. Don't do it. Start early, don't get the night before, realize that you've got nothing and panic, and then think you're going to get away with it. And that's really why most people do it. So please, please don't find yourself in that situation. If you are caught plagiarizing, I'm talking like copying and pasting the paper or something like that, or taking someone else's paper who's taken the class before and passing it off, I have that before. I keep all of the papers in the past on record, so I know who's written what and so forth. I shouldn't say I do. It's not like I got a big folder. The computer does for me. That, and then also cheating on the exams. Don't do it. I had someone who had a purse on their desk, and then they took their phone and kind of set it up behind it. And like I wouldn't notice it with their fingers going like this. And they didn't think I'd catch them. So if you are caught cheating in something like that, you will fail the course. Being perfectly upfront and honest about it, I've got no qualms in failing people for those types of things. And also, I will report it to the dean of students. Okay, and then they may take further action depending on the individual situations. Again, this is not something that personally I care about. I'm not going to be sad at night if someone's cheating in my class. That's not my concern. My concern is it's completely unfair to the other students. There are students in here who work really, really hard for their grades and do the best that they can, and then someone else comes in and cheats and gets the same grade and without doing the work. That's not fair at all. Right? So that's the reason I'm so strict about it. If you are, does that make sense for everyone? I'm talking extreme cases would be this. Little things, I may have a word with you here and there, but I don't usually have an issue with that. Okay. Disruptive, I can remove you from class if I need to. Very, very rarely. I think once I've done that. And then disabilities. If you have any type of disability at all, just let me know and we'll work with whatever is needed. I think I've encountered just about everything in my life for disability. It's not a big deal at all. I once had a quadriplegic take a lab course. So they had a helper that they told what to do, and the helper did it and everything. So we can work around anything. It's not a big deal at all, whatever it is. If you want to take if you have accommodations and you take your exams over at Testing Services, not a big deal, just let me know. The only thing I will tell you right now is I will forget that before the exam time comes up, so give me a reminder. Okay. So I send your exams over and so forth. Okay, I'm going to skip around here a little bit. MP3 players, since we were talking about exams and so forth, you are not allowed to listen to headphones during the exams. I've had this a few times in my years where someone wants to just maybe not even listen to anything but put headphones in to kind of drown out the noise around them, cancel out the noise or block out the noise and so forth. I don't know what's on the headphones, so I don't allow it. I mean, it may just be ambient noise for the first 5 minutes, and then you got my lectures after that. I have no idea, so I'm not going to allow that. Also, calculators and cell phones during your normal class like today and everything, not a big exams, you will not be allowed to use calculators or, sorry, let me rephrase that. You won't be allowed to use cell phones or things like that during the exams. Granted, if your phone rings, please answer it so it stops ringing and stuff. If you gotta talk for a second, that's okay. We're talking, looking things up, stuff like that. For the same reason, calculators, during the exams, you will not be allowed to use programmable calculators. I've had people cheat with this before, so they kind of ruined it for everyone. So what you need is you need a non-programmable calculator. Just simply a calculator with a square root button on it is going to be good enough for you. If it does scientific notation, you're going to be great. Okay? So they're $8, $9 at Walmart, maybe $12 at Walmart. I had someone come in with a calculator like this big once, and they put it on their desk, and the buttons were like this big, and I asked them, what is that? And they're like, it's the only calculator I could find. I got it for opening a checking account. It worked perfectly fine for them. Okay, so I'm not saying go out and buy an expensive calculator, anything like that. Please do not do that. But that being said, you will need a calculator for exams that is non-programmable. If you're not sure if yours is programmable or not, just let me know and I'll check it. These are primarily, I run across like TI-85, TI-83s, things like that. I do have a dozen calculators I can loan out. However, if you look around the room, there's more than a dozen people here, so it's first come, first serve. After someone's done, I'll recirculate it out as best I can, but don't guarantee that you'll be able to get one. There's a big discussion right now going on about electronic devices in the classroom and so forth. The only thing I ask about those laptops and stuff, or tablets, or anything, is just don't be annoying to your neighbors when you're doing it. Normally taking notes and stuff, that's not a problem at all, but playing video games where you're hitting one button like over and over and over and over again, that can get really annoying. Things like that. The other thing I'll say about it is studies have proven that actually writing notes down on paper is better for your memory than typing it on a keyboard. So that's that. But if you do better, that's in general. I'm sure there are people who do better on laptops than they do with notes and so forth. I am not one of them, though. I know for a fact I do better writing it on paper than I do on the computer. Bringing us to our first extra credit project. This is a semester-long thing, so that's why I'm mentioning it now for you. As you're aware, this year we are using a new textbook. And one of the things that I want to do at the end of the term is collect a few sets of notes from students. So if you're here every day or 95% of the days and you take notes, at the end of the term, assuming you're willing, I will collect your notes for that semester. You can get them back, but I'll scan them or do something with them so that I've got a copy of them. After that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make those notes available to other students. So, yeah. The thought there is this: if someone misses class, then they have a set of notes that they can go and look at what's covered during that section and so forth. Year to year, my lectures are very similar to one another, so they would actually find it useful. Also, I said I teach an online class, and one of the things they've mentioned before is that they would like notes, and by putting up notes, I kind of help them out in terms of that. So if you're willing to share your notes, I will collect them. I promise I will not sell them, make any money off of them, anything like that. That's not what this is for at all. And you get a bit of extra credit. Anyone that hands in a complete or relatively complete set of notes is going to get a 1% bump on their final score. So a 91 to a 92. So all of you can get 1% for just doing that. If you have an exceptional set of notes, judged by not being someone else I can grab, then the top set of notes from both of my classes is going to get a 3% bump. And then the top person in this class is going to get a 2% bump. So if the best set of notes comes from here, one person in this class will get 3%, one person will get 2%. If the best set of notes is the other one, the top person here will get a 2%. So by doing what you're doing already, taking notes and so forth, if hopefully you're taking notes, then at the end of the term you can get some extra credits. Does that make sense? The notes don't have to be handwritten. They could be typed notes. One of the sets of notes last year that I got from students that was really, really good was a type set. I don't know how they did it. So, but they had images, all kinds of stuff. But anyway, so that's the deal. This, along with giving you extra credit, is actually very useful to you because taking notes during class will help you remember things as you go through. Okay. Any questions about that? You guys tired of the syllabus? Okay. What time is it? Okay. So, what that means is that we're at the end of the syllabus and we can actually